I didn't know what it was gonna look like right off the bat, but I knew over time I started to realize, you know, building a community is not hard work.
Yeah.
Whether it's just taking a couple hours out of your day, whether it's just really creating anything, I was like, that's all it takes. It's just an abundance of it. Yeah, it's abundance of small things. You do a lot of the small things and big things they'll create. The people will come, the people will notice. You'll start meeting people. I feel like if you're living on like a sense of purpose, like things just happen. You know, if your heart's in the right place and you really believe you are called to make an impact in whatever it is, I think things just start happening. I don't find it to be a coincidence. I mean, having a sense of faith has really added to that perspective, and now all of a sudden it's steamrolled to something that I can't stop doing. Have a seat. Listen. Today was definitely you guys' best day. Okay. You guys think so? Yeah. You can tell the difference, right? What do you think? What do you think the difference was?
Yeah, we had way better behavior.
Way better behavior. You see that?
We're listening.
Listening better.
We have way more better good sportsmanship.
Good sportsmanship for sure.
If nobody else gets to use the ball and you just keep it, and then it's not really fair for the other people. And then if you have sportsmanship, then you could be like helping one another too.
I grew up in the Caribbean, and I remember when I was young, my parents always told me this quote that the president of Trinidad had once said, and it was that the future of a nation is in the backpacks of its children. Each one of our kids is gifted. Each one of our kids is special. I think each one of our kids they have unique talents, they have unique abilities, and I do believe that every single kid that we work with can be absolutely amazing. I actually met Eric when I was 14. Having somebody around who just motivates you in a way, you feel like you could conquer the world after you talk to Eric. And so definitely having him in my life as a younger person, and then the times I ran into him as an adult, always very encouraging. Wow, that's amazing, that's exciting. Yeah, totally you could do that. That you can't help but achieve your goals when somebody's rooting for you like that. So.
Now for me, I gotta be honest with you, here's the transformation that happened.
Whoa.
What do you see that?
Lots of books.
I got caught cheating on a paper. Now mind you, I was not a good student, I didn't like to read, I struggled with homework, and so she's asking me to now read this book and write a 10-page paper on it in 5 days. I'm terrified. And I start writing and writing, I keep reading and writing, and I'm getting so excited about this book. All of a sudden, I started seeing the value in education, how books had transformed my life, how handling my homework could create a whole nother world and reality for me.
You read me a while back this piece you wrote for a class. Can you tell me a bit about that?
I had to write a paper related to my work around Holla. I'm in a doctoral program at Multnomah University, and I called it Mentoring on the Eastern Edges. And it's about gentrification in Northeast Portland and how it displaced at least 10,000 black people in their traditional neighborhood there in Northeast. As I look back on my education, I am baffled at how poorly educated I was. I was never truly taught to think critically. I was never pushed to ask questions about my upbringing, nor my parents' and my grandparents' upbringing. In the late 1970s and early 80s, when the crack cocaine epidemic swept through South Central LA, overnight lives were decimated, families destroyed, and kids roamed aimlessly in search of their parents who had been claimed by this devastating drug. Yet I was never taught to ask why. I was not once taught to question these conditions. I was never asked to reflect as a teenager, to think through the structural and physical violence. If anything, I was taught that this was Black America's fact of life. For every success story of someone who had gone from rags to riches, there were crowds of thousands of black, brown, and copper-toned faces of inner city children that would never escape the bracketed conditions of their oppression. It is these kids who live on the eastern edges of the city of Portland who may never know why they were pushed to these margins. It is these kids for whom Holla exists, not as an organization that comes to teach, though there will be teaching, but as one that comes to be educated, to stand in solidarity with them and exchange roles by valuing, experiencing, sharing, and reflecting on their conditions, knowing that their conditions are my conditions. The mentor and mentee being transformed together, which requires reflection, critical dialogue, and action.